I'm just trying to give people something entertaining to read and help them feel more comfortable in their lives and seen, and like they're not alone and not like a freak or something. Like everyone's kind of seeming to be determined to make us believe, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. Welcome back to week 28 of Let's Make a Book Baby, where I am taking you from the very start of writing this book until I actually publish it. We are about halfway through the process, I would say, because now we're moving from writing to editing and marketing, and I'm preparing to launch the book. So if you would like to see all of my preparations, I just created a video earlier this week about that, everything that I was doing, and it was kind of combining weeks 27 and 28, but this is going to be the big aspect of the writing part that I've been struggling with this past week, so you can check that out. What I want to talk to you about is that as an author who writes characters who have different mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, sometimes I also have a hard time with those things, and it actually inhibits my process. I feel like there's kind of a cultural belief or something, like a societal stereotype that like, oh, like being a brooding artist like helps you, and like I kind of see that like in a yes and no type of way, because sure, I can use these things as inspiration and sometimes I do, but when I'm not in that type of part in the book, then I'm pretty much screwed, because I really am having a hard time with motivation and with getting myself into a good headspace to not feel like, okay, this nothing is working, and like things like that. So it actually can make it harder to make progress on my book. And I think that's what I really ran into in week 28, where I just felt like, okay, I was feeling really, really good about it. I have notes for the entire ending. It's all laid out for me perfectly there, and I was making a lot of progress on the marketing side. I finished the cover, I started the Kickstarter like you saw last week. I didn't actually launch the Kickstarter yet, I'm just preparing to launch it, by the way. That's what I mean. I started to prepare the Kickstarter to help me launch the book and help fund the book's launch, which I'm very excited about because I'm doing a very fancy special edition, so that did cheer me up a little bit. But I'm kind of uncomfortable with moving forward unless I have the rest of the book fully written out. Like, it's there, but I just want to write it down, and I was trying to get myself to write it down, and I just could not get myself there. I think I had too severe of a PTSD trigger. So if you don't know me, I'm an LGBTQ plus author and artist. I'm also disabled, so I write characters like that, and oftentimes they are trauma survivors who are finding true love for the first time. In Ari and Marcus's case, though, in this Shadow King Omega, which is the name of the book baby that we're working on, in Shadow King Omega, the two main characters are kind of discovering that their first love is their true love with each other, that they've never admitted it to each other. So it's very sweet. They have like this very intimate relationship with each other already, like emotionally intimate. So I'm kind of just getting them to be intimate in all other ways as well. And I do feel like they are physically, like platonically very affectionate already. And that's kind of like blurring the lines between romantic and platonic for them, which made it pretty confusing. So it's been very fun to write about that. But when I'm in this place where my brain gets to be like, okay, self-isolation, everything is dangerous and all this stuff, it makes it very difficult. Like, let me talk about what actually happened that I think was the most triggering part, and then I had like what I like to call compounding triggers, where little subtle things that just pile on until it like reaches the breaking point for me, and I'm like, great, now I'm in like an actual like episode of like a more elevated state where I'm agitated all the time inside my body. I don't really want to talk to anyone. I feel very uninspired and hopeless and frustrated and mad and sad, and oh my god, it's too much to explain. I don't know. I'm hoping that by filming this video it'll help get me through it, because I feel like this is a much more honest answer as to how this book is going right now, how I'm doing right now, and the actual struggles that I face as someone with these mental health conditions in all parts of my life, regardless of my job that I end up doing. But writing is the thing that I'm choosing to be doing above all things. Since I have multiple chronic illnesses, I have the unusual circumstance where my parents can afford to help me out and to help me live in a safe place, even if I can't work a regular 9 to 5 job. I do make my own money, pay for a lot of my own things, but I still have their support here in their house, and that has helped me a lot. I have the unusual circumstance where I get to choose what I am doing, and I'm trying to utilize that to like its utmost potential. So I am putting a lot of pressure on myself, especially because there's something that I don't think that I have talked about yet in this series fully, and it's on the darker side. So content warning, I guess, if you are a fellow trans person, LGBTQ person, someone who is feeling extra targeted right now, that definitely hit me harder this week. A couple of things happened. I heard about different hate crimes. I also saw the government put out something that said, and hopefully this doesn't get my video blocked, but you know, that's telling you how bad it was what they said. Like at the end of the letter, like talking about like people who were like pro-transgenderism. Like I'm a trans person, I just want to live my life. But like, so I don't know what the fuck that means, but they said like, you're a terrorist, basically. Like the exact phrase in quotes was, "We will find you and we will kill you." So I was like, yeah, you know, that's a little triggering. But I kind of like pushed it in the back of my head because, as I mentioned in other videos, we had a lot of visitors, and I was like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know if I should leave the country now, like if we should wait, because we've had to talk about it. But at the same time, there's other things going on. So I was trying to do a stream. This was like week 26. I tried to do a stream where I was showing you guys the marketing side of it on Twitch. And I do stream still every week, and I've been trying really hard to stick with the streaming schedule because it's fun for me. I genuinely really enjoy it. I also really love doing YouTube videos, but if you've noticed me slowing down with them, it's because I'm struggling to find time to edit between all these 50 million things I'm doing now that it's like more crunch time. But on Twitch, I was like, okay, here's like how I do some book research, like book marketing research, and at least I want to say like 40 to 60% of the books that I was seeing in the top categories on Amazon, which is where I was researching, because it's unfortunately they sell 60% of all books, paperback books, 80% of all ebooks in the world. So you have to use them to research, but it's wise to. And about like, I'm throwing out so many percentages around. I would say like about 40 to 60% of the covers that I was seeing, and most likely the stories, were AI slop. I don't really like, if you're on this channel and you're like support that, you're in the wrong space basically. Because I am an indie author. I do every single step of the process, and I feel like that some of these stories really need a human touch. My books are some of millions that were stolen to create these language learning models, so they do not function without what I had already created too. Like, if our stuff as writers didn't already exist, these LLMs would not exist, basically. They cannot exist without having stolen our work. So obviously a lot of us are not happy about that. But when it also gets combined with, okay, this is like 40 to 60% of the direct competitors that are in the top 10 of my category or top 100 of my main book category, I feel like that's a problem, because it's also doing more than just competing with me. It is tarnishing the view of what books are to readers. Like, people are not liking these books. They don't do well. They have no effort put into them. They're just slapped up there. It's like a bigger and bigger issue right now. So I was like, oh my god, like on the stream, like this is harrowing. I've never seen this many AI slot books on Amazon ever, especially not in these top categories. So I was very disturbed at the drastic increase. Like a year ago, it was probably an issue, but it was not such a huge problem. But a year before that, it was not even an issue at all. That would be very rare. People were leaving prompts, and they probably still are, leaving prompts inside of the book, that they did that few and far between. But now, since there's so many of them, the quantity is what's directly impacting us. It's making all of us also not get paid very much, because we get paid by page views on Kindle Unlimited, which means that the entire pool of all books that are read that month through Kindle Unlimited get a cut. So that means that, yes, those types of books are literally taking part of our cut, because there's more of them. People are probably trying to read them, having to stop, read other ones. There's just such an outpouring that it becomes way more invasive. I understand that every month people can only read so many things, but because it is this content that is being used that actually really cannot be copyright written because it's taking our intellectual property, and you can't copyright AI slop, then that's an issue, you know. It's directly taking our stuff that has been stolen and fumbling it together into something else based on like, oh yeah, these words go together, these words seem to go together. It's not actually like thinking these things through, quote unquote, but people seem to think that it is. They don't understand how the actual technology works. So anyway, that was very harrowing. On top of that, yes, I feel like there were some direct threats made in this country towards people like me, way more direct than before, that said literally the words, "We will kill you." And then on top of that, I saw multiple hate crimes online, news about it, and accounts from people. And then I think what really did me in here was that the US House of Representatives passed a trans book ban. So that doesn't mean that it's fully banned yet, but they're halfway there, basically. Hello, Editing River here. I want to add that this bill is not only about banning trans books, it's about like literally like they will take all funding away from schools that support trans people in any way. So not only will they not have their schools or teacher support, like maybe if that's the only person that they can trust in their lives, but if they have extremely homophobic or transphobic parents that could literally unhouse them at a whim, which happens a lot, the school will be required by law to forcibly out anyone that they suspect as transgender. Even if it's like, oh, like some kid is like, oh, I don't really like my name, and they just ask to be called a different name on their own completely, they're saying that is like, they're being persuaded to change their sex. I'm like, what the fuck? So like the issue here is like, I'm talking about the trans book ban side of it because people think like, oh, it's just going to be for these poor children whose entire childhood is going to be full of suffering. Which I know personally is true, but it's going to reach farther than that into everybody's lives more than you think it's going to reach if you're not in this community who already understands how these people work, how these things work, how ingrained all of these issues are. When gender is not binary, sex is not binary, this doesn't get back. There's no way to logically blame this. It's just forcing this tiny community to suffer for no reason. Anyway, I wanted to add in that context because I was trying to originally record the video to make it more prevalent to the topic of books that we're talking about, but I also am a trans person who was a kid who felt misunderstood and didn't know that I could be trans, and it led to a lot of unnecessary suffering, like I was saying. So this is important to still me as a person, and I neglected that in this video. We have been warning people about this for a long time, and I don't think that it's going to stick within the trans community if this goes through. People will try to say, oh, it's just for kids, just for schools, but I don't think they understand what this means, actually. If there are laws that are preventing our books from being shown anywhere, then yes, publishers are not going to publish us. Retailers are not going to want to push anything out that, even if there's like absolutely no sexual content, nothing, there's just some type of mention, maybe it's by a trans author like me, then that could impact us. We have no way of knowing how far-reaching or how minimal this will be. Also, how much it's going to impact cis people, which I am almost certain it will be. Like if someone's on the cover that like looks trans and they're just not like some very skinny white blonde lady or like buff tall white man, who knows what's going to be flagged as too transgender. So this is bad. This is really bad. And I'm trying to prepare my book. I'm writing the last part of my books, and what am I going to do? I literally don't know what to do other than just keep going. But I got myself into this place where it was too much for me, and I could not control that. It just automatic. My body was like, yep, checking out. And so I could not physically get myself to write this. I tried to. Then I was like, oh wait, I need to go back and reread this one portion I couldn't remember, which I know I need to stop doing, but I'm pretty sure that my PTSD, it always causes a depression episode for me because I have, my whole life have had depression, and it also can flare up my OCD symptoms. Even though I have treated OCD, I have treated PTSD, and I've treated depression. Sometimes life just happens regardless of how much you treat something. There's no like cure for these things. Like, people might misunderstand that. So even if I've made a lot of progress, I still will always have some of these brain pathways that give me these symptoms. And if I kind of let them go unchecked a little bit, they might like latch on and then take over for a little longer, despite all of my tools. But the good news is that I do have the tools to use that I can pull myself out with. Like, I have learned a bunch of techniques that will help. I've done exposure and response prevention therapy. I've also done prolonged exposure therapy for PTSD. So I know that if I avoid these things, I don't talk about them, that it could actually heighten my PTSD symptoms and tell my brain like, oh yeah, that's actually something that is rightfully dangerous to think about. It's going to make it worse. Like, when like thinking about the issue is very different from actually being in physical danger right now. And that's hard right now when I don't know how much physical danger that my community is in, that I could be, because I'm seeing people who are online presences go out and get hate crime. So I'm like, oh, well, here I am trying to boost myself and become a more well-known author. And I know that that is already putting a target on my back, but I think it just hit me a little bit harder. I'm like, yeah, I don't really like that, but this is what I want to do. So I don't know. I have a lot to think about in terms of like how to best protect myself, just things like that. I don't know. I'm not really, I'm just trying to create a silly werewolf romance novel. And like you might think like, oh yeah, it's not that serious, but honestly, it kind of is. Like, not the book content. That's going to be silly and fun regardless, but these issues themselves, they do have real impacts on me, and I'm just trying to give people something entertaining to read and help them feel more comfortable in their lives and seen, and like they're not alone and not like a freak or something. Like everyone's kind of seeming to be determined to make us believe, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that we are terrorists. So that was my week. Tell me how your week went. Like, genuinely, I would love to hear if you have anything that you're looking forward to good going on. If you've also felt like you were kind of held back by being overwhelmed or feeling this daunting feeling about the future. Yeah, you're not alone in that either. I just wanted to be real with you about what's going on. I did work on the Kickstarter campaign that I'm preparing to launch soon, so I have to still finish that up this next week while I'm hopefully feeling a little better, in a better mood, so that I can finish my book. I don't want to touch it while I'm feeling so like dark. I did write some parts of the book, or like add to some parts of the book that had very positive and loving trans representation to kind of like hold Ari and hopefully help myself feel a little bit better by doing that indirectly. I'm trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not giving up. It's just that sometimes I need more time to recover. So I hope that I have a better update for you next week, and I hope that you're having a great day or night wherever you are. I will see you very soon. And yes, if you want to keep up with me weekly, like day by day, more than just these YouTube videos, come visit me on Twitch. I love chatting with you. I will see you there. Okay, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye for now. Oh, I missed. Oh well.